Good day. Today we are going to be treating the all important chapter. We are going to the all important chapter called How to Parent Teenagers, Parenting the Teenager. Teenagers, by definition, are children from the ages of 13 to 19. It's important we note that they are indeed children and should be treated as such. In this chapter, we are going to be talking about how to parent teenagers. The teenage years are rightly called the period of storms and stress. It's a tough time for parents, tough time for teenagers, and also a crucial time. It's the last stage that children will get to before they become adults, and hence it should be taken very seriously. A lot of what will determine what kind of adults they will be met at this particular stage. Teenagers are children from age 13 to 19. I must stress that they are children. They are not adults. Legally speaking, when they get to 18, um, the law says they are adults. I do not comply with that idea. Let me just give you the reason why. Being an adult has a lot to do with a person's physiology, has a lot to do with a person's biology. When politicians in the US were asked why children of 18 years are adults, the only answer they could give was that that's the age at which they are allowed to vote. Now, voting doesn't make somebody an adult. There are a lot of things that combine to make a person an adult. And as a matter of fact, they had a problem. After they made a law over there in their country that they should be adults by 18, a lot of things transpired. You saw 18-year-olds leaving their parents' homes, getting married, living on their own. And there was a spike in drug driving accidents. A lot of teenagers died in accidents because they were drinking and driving. And then a group of parents, and this is why also so parents are very powerful. A group of parents formed an association, women mostly, mothers mostly, formed an association, and they prevailed on their House of Assembly that, okay, fine, if you people are not going to reduce the age of adulthood, please increase the drinking age. And then they were able to get the government to increase the drinking age to 21. So in the US, you're an adult by 18, but you can't drink until you're 21. Now, that is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. If a person cannot drink, he should not be called an adult. Why are you not calling the person an adult if you say the person cannot drink? So it just goes to tell you that there are a lot of things that make a person an adult. It's not just the age, it's not just being 18. What the politicians didn't take into consideration, maybe they did and they didn't care, is that there are other aspects of adulthood. Physiologically speaking, like for instance, there's a part of the body, part of the brain, it's called the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe of the brain is responsible for responsible decision making, makes a person to be able to make responsible decisions, responsible for impulse control, responsible for a lot of things that you see in adults are originating from the part of the brain called the frontal lobe. Now, in teenagers, the frontal lobe is not developed. It's not fully developed, and it doesn't become fully developed until they get to 25, for some 23, for some 25. So it is very, very wrong physiologically to say someone who is 18 is an adult. But politicians do it, and anyway, in this part of the world, we know not to trust them. So I just use this to explain to you the reason why I say that a teenager is a child until they get to 25. As far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't consider them an adult and you shouldn't treat them as such. They are still children. That's one of the reasons they have a tough time. They look like adults, They are big as adults, they have all the features of adults, but they are children. And it will help us to parent them if we know and recognize them as such, and we are able to address their issues, seeing them as one of the problems they have is that people expect them to behave like adults when they are not adults. As much as they would want to, they would very much want you. Teenagers will want you to take them as adults and treat them as such, but that's exactly what a child would do. An adult will not tell you to do something for them as long as they know they are deserving of it. They know it will get to them. But teenagers want to be treated, but we should overlook that we must treat them as children because they are children. That being said, I made a list. This is essentially a preamble to the main chapter, Parenting Teenagers. I made a list of the different points, the different subheadings we are going to be looking into in this chapter. I'll be reading them out. The first one is physical care and hygiene of the teenager, nutrition, education and skill acquisition for the teenager, character training, play and exercise, spiritual guidance for the teenager, discipline, how to discipline teenager. We're going to be looking at how to discipline teenager under this chapter as well. Teenagers and the internet, and then handling facts and peer pressure. Then number 10 on that list, which is the last, is puberty and sex education. When we are done with looking into these points, we'll be checking out common problems concerning teenagers, common problems that other parents have concerning teenagers that I feel is good for us to look into as well, since we are on the topic. Underage sex is one of them. Drinking and smoking and drug use and abuse is one of those problems we'll be looking at. Stress, we'll be looking at stress. Self-esteem and body image, we'll be looking at those problems as well. Depression, cyber addiction, teenage pregnancy, bullying, academic problems, and then finally how to talk to your teenager. So these are what we are going to be encountering in this chapter, how to parent teenagers. It's a very exciting chapter. It's exciting for me because I know it's challenging for a lot of parents who have teenagers. Going through this chapter, I believe you'll be well equipped, better equipped to handle them and make them productive members of your family and productive members of the society at the end of it. I'll be ending the video now. Subsequently, we'll begin the chapter in earnest. Thank you.